Hello, and welcome back to this week's episode of Mining the Comments, where we will discuss the similarities between the stages of grief and the stages of insomnia. Once again, I'd like to thank everyone for taking the time to post questions and comments on last week's videos. Otherwise, if nobody posts anything, then I guess it'll be a lot harder for me to continue making these videos. So one question in particular that caught my attention was the following from, sorry if I'm not saying this correctly, but Mestino. Anyways, question is, how do I not hate or forgive insomnia? I realized I can't really befriend nighttime wakefulness as I hate insomnia so much and what it did to my life. So whenever I'm awake, which is often, I just hate it so much. I understand the core principles of recovery, but I think my hate towards insomnia is holding me back. Once again, I can definitely understand and relate to this stage. It's incredibly difficult to be there. The emotions are very intense. There's this internal struggle and battle going on. But before we go any further, I'd like to show you this clip from The Simpsons, older episode. So hopefully you've seen it. If not, I'm sure you can jump on YouTube and get the entire episode. But the episode is about Homer and the family going out to dinner and trying something new. So they go to a sushi restaurant where Homer starts eating everything, all the different kinds of sushis that are available, and they decide to try something a little bit more exotic, which was a sushi that could potentially have be poisonous. And so he eats the sushi, and the chef thinks he made a mistake, and they believe that they may have given Homer a portion of this poisonous fish. So they rush him to the hospital, and they do some lab works. And the scene that we're about to see is where the doctor comes back and tells Homer that they believe he has consumed the poisonous fish, and he has about 24 hours left to live. So let's check this out, and we'll be back in just a moment.
You can expect to go through 5 stages. The first is denial.
No way, because I'm not dying.
Second is anger.
Why, you little...
After that comes fear.
What's after fear? What's after fear?
Bargaining.
Doc, you got to get me out of this. I'll make it worth your while.
Finally, acceptance.
Well, we all got to go sometime.
Mr. Simpson, your progress astounds me.
Unfortunately, not all of us can go through all stages that quickly. So let's go over the stages of insomnia as how I saw it in my experience and this experience of many others. Obviously, there's going to be a little bit of variations or maybe some other added feelings, but let's go through these. So the first one for me and for most people is going to be fear, right? Fear. We don't know what's going on. We're scared. We're trying to figure out if it's something medical, something psychological, what's happening to us. And in this stage, if anybody watched the recovery video I did with Daniel, it talks about my fear was literally just terrorizing me. I was convinced that based on my family history of medical issues, let's say, that I had cancer or there was something wrong with me, and I was convinced that I was going to die. So within a couple of months, I had lost about 40 pounds. And it was a very, very scary, difficult time. After that phase came anger, a lot of anger, just anger towards everything, anger towards why is this happening to me, anger towards people around me that were sleeping well, that didn't have this problem, anger that the medication wasn't working, anger that all the different sleep programs I was trying and all the different sleep efforts weren't working. It was a very intense, a very difficult time. Anger towards myself, that even when I watched some of these recovery videos and other programs, this is prior to meeting Daniel and the sleep coach school. But as I was watching CBT-I programs and people were doing well, why were these things not working? So there was a tremendous amount of anger. And so going back to the question that was posted earlier regarding, let's go back to that. I hate it so much. I can't forgive insomnia, right? So this is the stage that you're in right now. We're in the stage of anger. And in my case, and in the case of many people, after being so angry and fighting, they just get depressed because they're not seeing any changes. And oftentimes things actually start to get worse, and they don't know why. They're even more scared, right? So now we have more fear, more anger, and we get to a point of depression where we're just breaking, we're falling apart. We don't know what to do. We feel helpless. We feel like we've reached out in every direction, and we just can't figure out what's happening. I would say probably around this time, I was still looking for something, but my hope was fading. After a year of this, and trying so many different things, I just felt completely broken. And then when I found Daniel's program, I realized what was going on, right? It demystified everything that was happening to me. It started making sense, started explaining things. And then I started undoing all the trauma that I had caused myself during an entire year, not knowing what to do. And I started to get to a point of acceptance. And this is not easy. This isn't easy. Again, we're not Homer Simpson. We can't go through all stages in a matter of seconds. But acceptance is the way. It really is the way. And still to this day, even though I feel like that phase in my life is behind me, I still have little moments of fear and anxiety, and I'm still working with this acceptance. It's difficult, but it has improved dramatically in my life. My quality of life has improved tremendously, and things are great. So to go back to the question, how do I not hate or forgive insomnia? Well, I understand the hate, I understand the anger, but what happens is when I realized and understood that insomnia wasn't something that invaded my body, it wasn't um, an illness that I could just get rid of or remove. It's me. And the anger and the fighting is actually I'm fighting with myself. So this anger is towards me, and my subconscious is feeling and sensing and having to deal with this anger. And so it actually just becomes an internal battle. And in a battle, nobody wins. There's no winning side. And when we're battling ourselves, we're the only ones that are losing. It's just a loss. And so what can we do? Well, let's go back to the question again. I hate it so much. I understand the core principles of recovery, but I think my hate toward insomnia is holding me back. As long as we continue to think that insomnia is something that is not part of us, we're going to keep trying to fight it. When we realize that recovery is kindness, softness, a more gentle approach, and realizing that that the subconscious is afraid. It's super scary, and it's doing everything to keep you alive because it perceives a real threat. And so how we move past this fear and anger is understanding, right? Knowledge. And in doing so, the befriending wakefulness is a way to show the subconscious that we are safe. It's just a perceived threat. And so we need to just experience this time and show it that there is nothing there to fear. As we move in that direction, we start to accept what's happened. And it really is an opportunity. And what I mean by that is I don't know a lot of people that have a lot of internal peace or don't struggle with a lot of anxiety or harshness to themselves, and all of a sudden get insomnia. I've noticed in my personal experience that people can be very rigid. People can be have a lot of difficulty accepting themselves or being kind and soft with themselves. So the reason why it's an opportunity is because it allows us this chance to start changing how we view things, how we handle fear, how we handle anger, how we handle harshness towards ourselves. So as we start looking at this as an opportunity and start to learn how to soften things in our life, we'll not only start to sleep better, but we will start to live better. The rest of that episode with the Simpsons is beautiful. It shows that Homer at that point believes that he only has 24 hours left to live, and he can choose to be angry, he could choose to fight, uh, or be consumed with regrets, but he chooses to turn towards his family and friends, and he makes a list of all the people he wants to spend some time with. And so he does. He goes down the list of everyone, and he starts spending this beautiful quality time with his family members and friends, and um, his son, daughter, anyways. And the last, he ends up spending the last remaining what he believes is hours of his life with his wife, and it's absolutely beautiful. And it reminded me, this is why this video was so powerful, so meaningful to me, because it reminded me of when, I don't remember the date or the time exactly, but I remember when this acceptance kind of kicked in for me. And I realized that I'm only fighting myself. And the only way to get through this is acceptance, and to be kind, and to be soft, and to be gentle. And so what I ended up choosing to do was I turned toward my family. I thought, if I'm miserable at night, they're never going to know. I'm never going to let them know anything about that anymore. I'm going to spend my time enjoying it with my family, with my wife and my kids. I remember playing video games with my kids. I'm not a video game guy, but I just started living my life. And I thought, well, whatever it has to do, let it do it. If it kills me, if it makes me sick, but I'm just going to enjoy my life. Acceptance. And the moment I started doing that, even though at nights I wasn't sleeping well, what I noticed is at nighttime, when I couldn't sleep, I would spend my time reflecting on how I spent my day. And I would get so emotional sometimes, and so thankful that this was happening, because I was consuming my time with my family as if it was my last day or my last days. And so I really bonded and became very close to my family. We've always been very close, but our relationships became even stronger. We got even closer. And so at the end of the episode, he goes to sleep with his wife. I think they're holding one another. He wakes up the following day, and he's like, well, I didn't die. I didn't, and he was supposed to die within 24 hours. And so he realized that he hadn't eaten the poisoned fish. Sorry about the spoiler alert. This is kind of an old episode. So, and he gets to live, and, he celebrates with his family. And so for me, that's exactly what happened. Not as quickly as the episode shows, but as I started just loving, and every minute that I had during the day, even with the severe heart palpitations, the eye burning, all the horrible feelings and sensations, the not sleeping, the feeling nauseous, the feeling exhausted, I started enjoying my day, and I started to accept and let go. And slowly, little by little, I started to sleep. And as I started implementing the concepts and what we teach here at the Sleep Coach School, I started knowing how to handle things. And so my nights became better and better. And I truly feel like the fog has lifted, and it's no longer a monster. I'm not fighting anything. I'm not angry anymore. As a matter of fact, this has taught me to accept things even more so, and has allowed me to appreciate things around me even more. So I'm a lot less quick to anger, or even to fear, even though that's never going to go away, because that's part of who we are. And it's beautiful. It's all just emotions that we feel, that we should feel. I hope this helps to answer your question, and realize that right now, understandably so, you are in the phase or the stage of anger, and hopefully you can move past it. Of course, I always recommend to go to our website and either join the immunity program, or purchase any of Daniel's books. Just start getting knowledge and understanding and information on how to understand exactly what's going on during this insomnia journey. There's tons of recovery videos, of course, on YouTube that you can learn from. And last but not least, there's quite a few highly qualified coaches that you can have one-on-one calls, and you can get added support that way. So that is all for this week. I hope you found this useful, and I really hope that you can get past the stage of anger and practice more love and compassion and move past that, and you will recover from this awful stage, and you will learn so much from it. So that is all for this week. Thank you again. I hope everyone has a wonderful week, and questions, comments, please post them below. And again, this journey of insomnia is a very difficult one. So be kind, be patient with yourself, and you'll get past this. Take care.
Hi there, Coach Style here, and I hope you thoroughly enjoyed the video that you just saw. If you are finding yourself thinking a lot about what your life would be like if you weren't struggling with sleep, if you had bandwidth for everything else in life that you want to do, if you felt like yourself again, if you didn't even give the night a second thought, well, then I have news for you. Leaving the struggle is actually so much easier than we often think. Everything that you need truly is out here on our channel in our free content. The one thing that can be tricky, though, is that sometimes you don't really see where you are not contextualizing the teachings to yourself. And what also can be tricky is that it can feel a bit lonely and isolating to leave the struggle on your own. If this applies to you, then head over to thesleepcoachschool.com, because we have programs where you can join a community of people that are leaving the struggle, which is led by coaches who have already done so. And so if this, again, sounds like something you'd be interested in, head over to our website, thesleepcoachschool.com, and check out our Insomnia Immunity program. And if you decide to join, we can't wait to see you on the other side.